introduce our moderators. I'm going to introduce our moderators. Okay, so South. So that means we always start with ladies first. Always. We have Kylie Beckham. She is a rising junior in the ACE program at Duncan Fletcher High School. She is a member of the mock trial team that has won not one, but 2 consecutive district championships. She is the founder and president of the Fletcher High School Pen and Purpose Writing Club. She is a volunteer for the Pablo Creek Library, the Diaper Bank of Northeast Florida, and has devoted her summers to volunteer at Camp Buddy, which is working with our friends with different needs. And by the way, Kylie is a member of the Fletcher Beach Volleyball team that finished 20-0. Won a state championship and finished this academic year the #1 beach volleyball team in the entire United States. Our second moderator is Mr. Dylan Roll. He is a rising senior at Samuel Wilson High School. He is the captain of the debate team and president of Youth and Politics Jacks. He has spoken before the Duval County School Board about proposed reductions to career and technical education, advanced placement offerings, as well as magnet school transportation. He volunteers as a student defense attorney with the T Court, and Dylan is the founder of Vala Web Design and the creator of Test AI, a study platform for students preparing for the ACT, SAT, and advanced placement exams who can do so without lying. Mr. Dylan. And now, we are going to introduce the, also, I forgot something. So we also wanted to acknowledge 2 organizations that helped make this evening happen. They are the League of Women Voters, Jacksonville First Coast. Families for Strong Public Schools. The Duval County Council PTA. Moms Rising. And the NAACP Jackson. So again, this is a forum, not a debate. So we're going to ask everyone in the audience and on stage to be civil. School board races are nonpartisan, and we are expecting everyone to be respectful. No cheering, no interruptions. We're going to have some timing rules. We're going to have someone right up here on the left, who is our timer. She will let you all on stage know that you have 30 seconds left, and red means stop. So, let's not be like the World Cup and get yellow then red. It's not good. And then we've introduced our student moderators. I do want to say before we get started, I am Will Brown. I work in Jacksonville today. I'm a reporter over there. But more importantly, I am a Duval County Public Schools parent. So we're privileged to join you, and we're going to let the candidates introduce themselves. Okay, so since I'm right-handed, we're going to start on the right. You have, so within 90 seconds, you're going to tell everyone who you are, what position you're running for, and you're going to say what is happening in Duval County Public Schools that you're proud of.
I'm Clarence James. I'm running for Duval County School Board District 6, which is on the west side. I retired from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office as a lieutenant, and I'm currently an active police sergeant with the Duval County School Police Department. My platform is Connect, Protect, Educate. We're going to connect with our students, our parents, and our teachers and our staff. We're going to determine their needs and make sure that they get the needs and what they need to be successful in the classroom. We're going to protect our kids. We're going to protect our institutions at all costs. That's number one, is school safety. And then we're going to teach, we're going to educate. We're going to get those test scores, those education scores going up. What I do like about the Duval County, what I think we're doing well, in the Duval County Public Schools is that we're continuing to strive hard, to work hard to bring up our test scores. It's a cumbersome job, but we work with what we have to the best of our abilities, and we're a good team.
Good evening. My name is Robert Staffered. I'm running for School Board District 6. I graduated from Rains High School, and a couple of schools that have been demolished. I attended those schools. A school that has no security barriers of any type. That's Rhodesia. I'm most proud of the graduation rate in Duval County and the career and technical education programs. They're outstanding. Ever increasing. I think they would lead young folks to career paths that would be very beneficial for them over their life span and be able to support themselves and their families and grow.
Michelle Petty. I'm running for Duval County School Board District 6. I'm a fourth registered paralegal, and I have 2 students that attend Duval County Public Schools. What I feel like Duval County is doing well is that the scores are coming up, our grades are getting better, our students are improving their literacy and math rates, and I want to see that continue on the upward scale. So I think I answered everything that I had.
I am Dr. Gracie Lancaster. I am a retired career educator. I am also.
Your 90 seconds starts right.
Great evening, everyone. I am Dr. Gracie Lancaster. I am a retired educator. I've spent 33 incredible years in Duval County Public Schools. I mentored novice teachers, I've trained interns, I've been a union representative, I've been on the leadership teams, I have also been a grade level chairperson. In the community, I am a social activist. I just came off of assignment with the United States White House under the Biden-Harris administration for the last 4 years. Also in the community, I am an NAACP member. I'm on the educational committee. Also, I'm on the board with NAACP. I am a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, 49 years. I am a minister. Also, in the community, I would like to see the teen takeovers diminished. That's one of the platforms I'm running on. And also, I would like to see the school to pipeline.
All right, so this is not part of the question, so we're going to cut off this so we can let other people get their 90 seconds. Because the question was, what is happening in DCPS that you're proud of? So we don't like to interrupt, but we will.
I thought someone said that.
All right, so yes, all right. So Ms. Butler, it is your turn. And again, name, position, and what is happening in DCPS currently that you're proud of. We'll get to everyone as we go forward. We want to make sure we follow and respect everyone's time.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rhodesia Butler, and I am running a candidate for School Board District 4. 21 years in the district, from teacher to principal, several things in between. I'm also a 35-year business owner in our community, running an amazing dance studio for 35 years, and also in the nonprofit segment. I'm proud of so many things in our district. I have been a product of the training and the professional development that has been granted to me over the many years, which allowed me to serve 9 schools in the 21-year tenure. Specifically though, I am really excited about the achievement gaps that have been closed. We have an A district right now, although there's more work to be done, but we have really done a good job doing that, as well as workforce development. CTE is on the rise, and so I also believe that there is definitely a need to have more tracks in our schools that are not just ACE and early college and so forth, but where all students can have an even playing ground to choose careers that they would like to go into.
Hi everyone, my name is Donna Westrich. I am a candidate for school board in District 2. I am running for school board because I care about kids, students, and teachers. I have 20 years experience teaching in the classroom, and I believe that no matter where you come from, education is the pathway to a brighter future, and we need to provide our students with an equitable, safe, high-quality education. The thing I am most proud of in Duval County Public Schools is the students and our teachers. And the reason we are an A-rated district is because of our teachers and our students and all of their hard work. Magnet schools offer ways for kids with specific interests to have a place to go and learn and explore their interests. And the school improvements that are happening right now in the district are going great, and I'm proud of the work that the district is doing to improve our public schools. All right, again, I'm most proud of the students.
Good evening, my name is Terence Myers, and I'm a candidate for School Board District Number 2. I'm a husband, father, retired Army reservist serving in Iraq and in Kuwait. I've been teaching for quite some time, all levels of education, including adult ed and collegiate. One thing that I like that the county is doing is helping to make schools safer by adding the weapon detector to all schools. I'm an extreme advocate for school safety, and that one piece, adding the weapon detectors to the school, is going to help keep our schools safe. And as the Dean of Students, that's part of my job every day. Thank you.
All right, everyone. So we met with you all beforehand and did mention that our questions are going to be divided into 3 different categories: student achievement, teaching and learning, state policy, and local impact. To be clear to everyone in the audience who can hear us, we did not share the questions with you, but we did say that those were the topics that we discussed. So we're going to hop right to it with student achievement. One of the school board's primary responsibilities is setting academic priorities, adopting curriculum, monitoring student performance, and ensuring every student has access to a high-quality education. So, with that being said, Dylan is going to start with a question for all of you.
Duval is a school choice district, and many families at the beaches and on the south side depend on district-provided transportation to reach magnet and non-zone schools. That transportation was considered for reduction during the recent budget decisions. In your view, is magnet busing a core service or enhancement, and how would you vote if it came before the board again?
We're going to start.
We're going to start on the left with Terence Myers.
The transportation
60
issue,
seconds.
the transportation issue is very serious. I think all public school students should be able to ride the buses, whether they be gen ed or advanced or magnet students. As far as the board is concerned, does boil down to dollars and cents. If there's not enough money in the budget, then I believe the board needs to find that money in order to make sure that those students are being transported. Even though it may cause some type of setback, the biggest thing is getting the kids to school. We want those high-achieving students to be able to, well, not just only high-achieving students, any students that want to take part in the magnet program, we want to make sure that they are being transported to schools.
Donna Westrich.
Same question?
Yes, please.
That is a great question, and I will agree with Mr. Myers. It is a dollars and cents situation. And when we're talking about school choice and going to a magnet school, I do think busing is an added expense that, if necessary, we could put back on the parents for a magnet school. If we're just talking about school choice where somebody wants to choose to go to Sandalwood program instead of Fletcher, I think the district needs to provide transportation in that case. But with a magnet application, with students choosing to go across town to go to Wolfson or Douglas Anderson, I do think that we could put that back on parents. That was how it was 5 years ago, and that changed. And I think with the budget, if it calls for it, we can put that back on parents.
Rhodesia, Butler.
Transportation is very important. I believe that it is especially a core service because many of our neighborhood schools have transitioned over the years into magnet schools and schools that have certain themes in them, and that's definitely important. But because of that, it makes it harder for students, not just magnet students or students of certain socioeconomic levels where parents can, like my parents were able to take me to school and I didn't necessarily have to ride the bus, although there was a bus provided. Buses should be provided so that those choices that we offer, students will be able to get there. And so we just have to do a better job of figuring out what the budget looks like and how we can make sure we keep students first, because them transporting and getting to school on time is definitely essential.
Dr. Gracie Bell Kears, McAllister.
It is extremely important that if you're talking about educating the whole child, public education is one of the areas in which a lot of the parents do not have funds to afford transportation for their children. So I feel very strongly that we should provide busing for the students. Duval County Public Schools just spent funds into purchasing 36 high-efficient energy buses. I feel very strongly those very same buses should be used to transport students to the school of choice of their parents, because some of the students are going to magnet programs and they need that transportation. A lot of the schools have closed, and consolidated, which caused a busing problem. So I do believe in having busing for students.
It's harder to hear up here. There's a little bit of an echo. Can you repeat the question for us down here? I'm sorry.
Yes, I can. Duval is a school choice district, and many families at the beach and on the south side depend on district-provided transportation to reach magnet and non-zone schools. That transportation was considered for budget reduction during the recent budget discussions. In your view, is magnet busing for an enhancement, and how would you know if it came before the board again?
I believe that I believe busing is a vital service that the district provides. And I do believe that students who do apply for a magnet program should be awarded the opportunity to also ride a bus as well. Busing, I'm a product of busing to school. Not all parents are able to get their children to school with their work schedules. So I believe that busing is a vital service that we do need to provide, and I would vote in favor of that as a school board representative.
I believe, busing is essential. And I heard a conversation about when folks sitting on benches waiting to be picked up and transported to these specialized programs. Number one, we should stop pushing 40 feet of speed. We could have hybrid buses, 15-passenger buses, that we don't have to have folks with CDLs. We can cast a wider net, we can employ more people, and we can be more agile when it comes to transportation, and we can reduce the cost. So hybrid vehicles, 15-passenger vans, we get rid of the CDL requirement with a P endorsement, and we can have more bus drivers and faster, quicker, more efficient buses. And I would vote for anything to ensure that transportation for young folks with school choice was sustained.
with school choice, we have to be competitive with, with other schools, with your private schools, your charter schools. So good transportation is essential. We have to hold the bus companies and the bus contractors accountable when they don't pick up our kids. I personally have picked up many children, put them in the back of my police car because they're sitting in a bus stop at 10 o'clock in the morning waiting on the bus to show up to go to school. And I've radioed it in, and I take them to school. We gotta hold the bus contractors accountable if they're not doing the job that their contractor they can do, saying that they can do. We've gotta get our kids to school, we gotta get them to school safely, and we gotta be competitive because the education is now a competitive market, as we know, with school choice.
All right, this next question is just for District 2 candidates. What strategies would you prioritize to improve reading proficiency across the districts? We'll start with Mr. Myers. What strategies would you prioritize to improve reading proficiency across districts?
First thing I would do is make sure that we have the qualified teachers in those areas. Schools in District 2, I've noticed for the past 4 years since I've been over there, we have a lot of 1s and 2s, and students that are reading at that low level need extra help. So I would ask that more resources be put toward those students that are low scoring in order to help bridge that achievement gap.
And then the same question for Ms. Westrich.
In order to close the reading gap in elementary schools, we need more people. We need to utilize our volunteers, the Read USA program, communities in schools, get more people into the classroom with the kids, one-on-one tutoring. Those young kids need more people. The teachers need more help in the classroom. At the middle and the high school level, funding recently has been cut and the diagnostic testing is gone and was replaced with a program called Achieve 3000 that the middle schools and the high schoolers can just kind of fake their way through it. At that level, a high schooler needs a one-on-one person. You need to read to that person and see where their fluency is, see where their vocabulary is. And like Mr. Myers said, we need more funding. We need to fund these programs to get these kids to read and not rely on technology like Achieve 3000.
And then moving on to District 4, chronic absenteeism continues to affect student achievement. In your view, what factors contribute most to chronic absenteeism, and what role should the school board play in addressing them?
Absenteeism is definitely an issue, but we do have some things in place with the Duval County school system. We do have tracking, attendance is tracked. We have truant officers that are following up, and they're checking on them every 9 weeks. There's a lot of factors, family concerns, mental health and wellness. We have a population of unhoused students. So when there's trauma with children, and it starts at a very young age, you have these issues, and it causes students not to be able to come to school. We just need to continue to be diligent, continue to make sure we're reaching out to parents. PTA is here. We're continuing to be able to have engagement activities where we're pulling parents together as they already do, and just make sure we're drilling down to be specific with those families that are in need. As a school board member, it's just more so of oversight and being able to make sure I'm familiar with all my schools. There are 14 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 7 high schools, and making sure I am abreast of what their needs are and articulating and carrying that information back to the rest of the members on the school board, and making sure that there's resources and doing my part as a community advocate to ensure that they have what they need in each school.
When you're dealing with chronic absenteeism, one of the first things that you must do is communicate with the family, the parent. Call them in for a conference if they cannot come, do a telephone conference, and express the importance of the child being within the school. You can't teach them if they're not there. But you can make your program so exciting that they would not want to miss school. I have been awarded Teacher of the Year 4 times. One of the that I invested in was my students. I made sure that my lessons were so highly motivated that they did not want to miss school. Also, I invited the parents in to take part into the educational system. So that made that child feel very special for that day when their parent was in the classroom working along with me. There is a way that you can reduce the absenteeism, and that's give awards to those individuals that come on a regular basis.
All right, and then for District 6, if you could prioritize one initiative to improve student achievement in Duval County Public Schools, what would it be and why?
Prioritizing one initiative, definitely would be getting the reading scores up. I believe that we need more paraprofessionals and services within the schools that can help give these teachers and students the resources they need to be able to start reading at grade level. I know a lot of students struggle with it. I know my girls struggled a lot with sight words. It was really hard for them to just memorize a word, and they needed that to be able to learn how to read. So definitely needs to prioritize the literacy rate in schools.
I read where 21% of the graduates from the Duval County Public School System are illiterate. 21% of the graduates. So I want to know, when do we decouple writing from reading? Reading and writing, arithmetic. It's a time when you had the 20 spelling words, you had to spell them, you had to look up the meaning, you had to put them in alphabetical order, you use them in a sentence. I can never do the alphabetical order thing. But that is something, it's the rudiments. Rudiments, we need to get back to that and let these young folks write. Let them express themselves. If they learn to write, they'll learn to read. I aspired to be a man of letters at one point. I wanted to be a purveyor of the fourth estate. Writing all the time. Writing all the time. Let them write, they'll learn to read. Don't hit them, don't tax them for spelling or punctuation. Just express yourself. Thank you.
I graduated from Robert E. Lee High School, but I'm also a product of the Westside Skills Center, where I took up heating and air conditioning. So I'd like to see for student achievement, I'd like to bring back more trades. Everybody's not going to go to college. When I was attending the Westside Skills Center half the day, at the end you got a job. Your senior year, I had many jobs in the Westside Skills Center, but we had heating and air conditioning, plumbing, machine shop, electrical. We had TV repair back then when you could repair the TVs, but we don't have those trades like we did back then, like we do now. So that would also help out with the previous question about truancy, making school fun, making our high school kids say, you know, I gotta go to school because I need to learn this trade because I want to make money when I graduate from school because I don't want to go to college. I can tell you I scored very high on my ASVAB test for the military because of my trade school involvement, because I knew electrical and I knew mechanical. So you get so much when you start learning the trades and things that are outside your normal academic. So I would like to see the trades come back very strong.
Okay, thank you for those answers, everyone. We're going to transition to teaching and learning. The school board hires and evaluates the superintendent, approves the district budget, adopts curriculum and instructional materials. The school board also establishes policies that shape teaching and learning across the district. These decisions influence the district's ability to recruit and retain high-quality educators, while providing students with a strong learning experience. So, we're going to, again, refer to our exceptional students for questions.
This question is for all candidates. Do you feel that cutting non-magnet school schedules from 8 periods to 7 puts those students at a disadvantage specifically the students enrolled in accelerated or pre-college programs at these schools? 60 seconds. We're going to start on the right with the students.
I like the 8-period day, because I will tell you, you could look at our literacy rates and our math score rates. We're a district that needs to work on that, and we've got kids that need that extra period. We want them to graduate on time. So I think that extra period is good for kids because they can get the remedial class that they needed, whether it be English, math, science. I like the 8 periods. Some kids do fine with the 7 periods, but we do have kids that need that extra period, and we got to take them into consideration. My 14-year-old goes to Paxson High School, so he probably doesn't need the 8th period because he wouldn't be at Paxson College Preparatory School. But that's how the ordinary school. So I think most of our kids need that 8th period.
We should keep it at eight periods. We need the extra time, we need the contact time. Teachers need contact time with the students, and the students need contact time with the subject matter. The longer, repetition, and just mirror everybody with the subject matter, will help the young folks. If it's not compressed, not hurried, and paced, well paced, they will achieve more.
I am a fan of the 8-period schedule because of the limitations that it provides for some of the students that are taking accelerated classes and they have a packed schedule. It allows for more electives for them to be able to have some non-strenuous classes. But I'm also a fan of the 8A B-Day schedule because it gives more class time per day, per class, for the students to actually be able to get into the learning, because when you have a short, less than an hour class, by the time you get started, the class is over. So that's my opinion of the 8A B-Day and the 8-period schedule.
My area of expertise is elementary. However, after I retired, I wanted to get a feel of what it would be like to teach high school and junior high. So I went back into the system just to get my experience in high school and also junior high school. I feel the 8th period would be very beneficial for the students, especially those individuals that are taking accelerated classes.
I worked in both schools where the 7-day period was in those particular years, and I've also worked in the schools with the 8A B-Day. I've also scheduled buildings in both schools and both arenas, and I really believe that it just depends on the school. It depends on the grade level. I've done middle school and high school, both Reebok High School and Wolfson High School, and a variety of middle schools. And so I just believe that it depends on the school. Repetition is key, so sometimes the 7-day period does work depending on what school and theme that is for, and then the 8-day B-Day also works. So it just really depends on the school and the needs of the students that we're serving, and I've seen benefits on both sides.
The magnet school schedule is working. The magnet schools have 8A B-Day, they have 8 class periods. The other secondary schools have switched to a second 7-period day. Not only do teachers lose planning time, this past year teachers only had planning every other day. You need good teachers, you need time to plan. Another thing about the 7-period day is that those kids in the ACE and the higher programs are competing with the 8-period kids to go to college. It affects your grade point average when you can't take 8 credits when you're taking 7 credits. So now we have tired teachers, students have less choices and fewer opportunities to get that grade point average. And the teachers are mad. We're on the same contract. We're getting 40 minutes less per day planning. It makes a difference when you're trying to teach kids, when you have less planning.
I support any schedule that's going to give the student the best outcome. There are pros to both. 7th period, there's more class time. With the 8th period, the student has more choices for classes. So whatever's best for the student. Then I would also want to look at what the data says about both. And then I would make my decision off of what data tells me is going to be the best for each student.
Beyond salary, what steps should the school board take to recruit, support, and retain high-quality teachers? This is for District 2. 60 seconds, and we're starting with Ms. Westrich.
In order to recruit and retain quality educators, we need a sustainable schedule, and we need, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Okay, sorry, I don't know what to say. We need a sustainable schedule, we need commensurate pay. I think you said you can't talk about pay, but we need to treat teachers like professionals, and we need to make sure they have the resources and the support staff that they need. When there's discipline problems in the classroom, we need a place for those kids to go. We can't keep teaching in a room with 40 kids, and speaking of 40 kids, we need smaller class sizes, sustainable schedules, and support for those behavior problems. When we need a kid to be removed from a classroom, they need a place to go, and they need to have consequences. So support, sustainable schedule, smaller class sizes. Thank you.
Mr. Myers.
Repeat the question, please.
Beyond salary, what steps should the school board take to recruit, support, and retain high-quality teachers?
Recruiting and supporting high-quality teachers. One thing, more training needs to be given to first-year teachers for classroom management. Talk about school safety. Discipline is part of school safety, having a safe environment for teachers to teach and for students to learn. Then secondly, more support for ESC programs. You have students with disabilities. Most times you may have 1 or 2 teachers in there. You may need a 3rd teacher, depending on the severity of the disabilities. So more support for teachers and more training for new teachers coming into the field.
Okay, this question is for District 4. Many parents and educators have raised concerns about the amount of screen time students experience during the school day. How would you balance the use of educational technology with the need for direct instruction, hands-on learning, social interaction, and students' well-being? We can start with Ms. Dr. Gracie Bell, PhD counselor.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Many parents and educators have raised concerns about the amount of screen time students experience during the school day. How would you balance the use of educational technology with the need for direct instruction, hands-on learning, social interaction, and the students' well-being?
What I would do is, within my schedule, I would make sure that the technology is incorporated within the schedule. And also, you said you were not as clear. It was kind of muzzled. Can you repeat the second part of that question?
To keeping direct instruction, hands-on learning, social interaction, and student well-being, how are you going to balance that with educational technology?
Yes, educational technology, when I was in the classroom, was definitely a part of my daily routine. To make sure that it's a balance, we did a rotating schedule. Everybody had to visit my table, which was teacher-directed, and that way they had reading, they had math, they had technology, and also they came to me for their direct instruction. And I will continue with that process.
Thank you.
Screen time is definitely effective and essential. Teachers have been trained in Duval County schools to carry out their schedules from the start of the time of the class to the end of the time. So I think, again, data drives your decisions, so there's no one size fits all. So when you have that classroom, you know your students, you know the data that has been produced, and so you use your screen time based on that. Your small groups may be on screen time and classes may rotate, but it's definitely essential to monitor that. All kids learn with different learning styles and modalities, so we have to make sure we're adhering to that. So there's no one size fits all again, it's just that using the computers and technology is essential because of the direction we are moving in our curriculum and careers, but it still should be limited and monitored, but used with the data to drive the decisions that are made within that classroom.
Thank you. The next question is for District 4. What is your philosophy on teacher autonomy in District 6? I apologize. What is your philosophy on teacher autonomy in the classroom? And how should the school board balance teacher discretion with district policies and parental expectations? We can start with Mr. James.
What was the first part of that question?
What's your philosophy on teacher autonomy in the classroom?
Teacher time?
Autonomy.
My philosophy on teacher autonomy, every teacher's got their own style, just like we all have our own style in teaching. And we should allow our teachers to have autonomy in the classroom as long as they're following the state curriculum. I mean, I can remember teachers back when I was in school and even college professors. They were great, they were boring, and some teachers had a great way of putting the message across, and some teachers just put the message across, and it's up to you to get it. So we do need to allow our teachers to teach. I think that is one thing that we've gotten away from, is not allowing our teachers to teach.
Mr. Stafford.
Just as Mr. James said, all teachers have a style. Everyone has an approach. Everyone has a different character. The curriculum is the curriculum. The way that you convey it or get your point across to the students is entirely up to you. So autonomy to an certain extent. But there are standards. There are standards, but there's operating standards in the classroom that you have to adhere to.
Some of the best teachers that I remember having were ones that were completely autonomous with the class, that would actually get on the level with the students and find that connection with them and make the learning fun. And it's way better than feeling like you just have a robot that's teaching you. Can you repeat the last part of the question?
How should the school board balance teacher discretion with district policies and parental expectations?
Thank you. Family engagement is a huge thing with me too. Like I want families to get more engaged with their kids' education, because our kids are more successful when they have that support from the house as well. So I am fully supportive of teachers being autonomous with their students and having that engagement with the families and actually communicating with the families as well, because I'm a huge person with communication. I want to know what my kids are doing.
All right, everyone. So we're going to ask one question for all of you. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Do you support the renewal of the 1 mil referendum? And if so, how do you plan to advocate for it on the campaign trail and in the community? 30 seconds. We are going to start in the middle this time with Ms. Butler.
Thank you. I absolutely support it. I absolutely support it. And on my campaign trail right now, I am advocating for it and I'm talking about it, because a lot of people don't know. If they're not in spaces like we are today and we're asking to be informed, they just don't know. So as I've been knocking on doors, we've been talking about it. And I believe it's important because it does a lot of different things. For one, it does support teacher salaries. It helps teachers with those supplements that sometimes pays as much as a mortgage or their car note or their insurances. So it is definitely valuable, and then it also does some other things with, I'm sorry. Okay, but I definitely support it, and I will continue to advocate.
Dr. Gaston.
Yes. I do 100% support the 1 mil, because teachers are overworked and underpaid, and the 1 mil, it goes toward teacher salary. So I do support that 100%, and I am communicating that with the people that I come in contact with as I am on the campaign trail, how important it is, because those funds go into several different directions, but mostly at this particular time, I'm advocating teacher salary.
I am fully supportive of the $1 million referendum. What I have been telling my voters when I'm not door knocking is my commitment is to find that money within the actual budget so that we can alleviate the referendum in 4 years. So I'm telling people to please support it because I do not want to lose a bunch of teachers this fall if it doesn't pass. And I know that we need the additional teacher pay and we need the security and the arts and the athletics. They're all very important.
I support extending the $1 million tax. Anytime you calculate the teacher salaries and safety, I'm going to support it. The other part, though, there used to be a robust training programs for teachers out at the show center. Teachers there were workshops and additional training. They could get professional development units. And all that has gone away. I hope this $1 million extension will bring something back.
Well, this is a question I'm very passionate about because when it first went on the ballot, I'm elected to the police union, the Fraternal Order of Police, and we lobbied it and pushed it and promoted it. And I was actually the first person that got praised by Diana Green for being the first person to reach out to her and say, we're going to support it, the Fraternal Order of Police. So we helped pass it, get it passed the first time. We're behind it now. And I'm on the campaign trail hard and educating people, letting them know that it's a renewal and not a new tax. I support it.
And Mr. Myers, Ms. Westrich?
I'm in full support of the renewal $1 million referendum. Also, I support it because of the teacher pay and the expansion of student programs, which is something that can be used in competing with charter and private schools.
I am in full support of the $1 million referendum, and it's an extension. It's not a new tax. I think we need to educate people that it's also not a homestead property tax. People are getting confused and mixing those two taxes up. So I've already been talking about the $1 million at school board meetings. I've been very vocal. I attended the Raoul area special council meeting where they were trying to decide if they were going to put it on the ballot. And so I've been very public in my support.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for those 30 seconds. Okay, we're going to transition to states and local impact. But many of the most significant decisions affecting Duval County Public Schools originate in Tallahassee. State laws and funding decisions influence everything from district budgets, to teacher salaries, to school choice, to accountability, and in some cases, difficult decisions about school closures. Remember that, no questions asked. While the school board does not make state law, its members serve as advocates for Duval County Public Schools by adopting legislative priorities, working with state leaders, and representing the district's interests on educational policy. So, with that being said, we are going to start with a question for all of you, 30 seconds each. And this question is directly from my Duval County Public Schools students whose school closed at the end of the 25 academic year. He asked me, will you close more schools, and if so, why? Now, I add this part. The schools that have closed have, for the most part, been in predominantly Black and Latino neighborhoods. The schools that have closed have had predominantly Black and Latino populations. How can a school board make decisions about closures that are equitable and financially responsible? It's 30 seconds apiece. We're going to start with Mr. Myers on the left.
School closures something that I take very seriously. There needs to be equity across the board in all communities as well. When we're looking at closing the school and consolidating schools, we need to make sure every option has been explored before that option is put on the table. Just because we want to cut money or save money because the buildings are old. If it's old, then I agree with rebuilding, but not taking the school away. Thank you.
I agree that when it comes to school closures and consolidations, we need to look at the whole district. We can't just pick certain areas. And policy 5.44 shows us we need to look at the boundaries, we need to look at our capital planning, we need to give 28-day public notice. 5 years ago, Atlantic Beach Elementary was on the docket to be cut, and all those parents stood up and said no, because they had a chance. So we need to be transparent and give people the opportunity and spread out the closures among the district.
Yes. Yes, we definitely need to be equitable. From a fiscal standpoint, we need to be fiscally sound and understand that there is a fiscal responsibility that we do have as a district. But more importantly, I think that transparency and letting the community and stakeholders know very early the plans that are coming forth from the district decisions or what they're planning, so that the community can have a voice. And with them having a voice, we can then make sure that the schools that they have on the table to be closed, we have a voice to make those decisions. Neighborhood schools are very valuable because of transportation and everything else, so we definitely want to keep our eyes on that.
From a legislative point of view, school closures, you gotta understand why they have to make that decision. Twice a year, October, February, funds are given to each and every school according to student enrollment. When the students are leaving the school, then that means that that budget is going to be short, and it may not be enough funds to control and operate the school. Thank you.
As someone who was a part of the ACE process when they closed Charger Academy a couple years ago, the first thing that I asked was, rather than just closing down schools, why are we not figuring out why we're having a decline in enrollment and trying to fix those issues? The entire process was extremely rushed, and I felt horrible. My heart broke for a lot of these families because they're now having to bus their kids 15, 20 minutes away just to get to school. So I think we need to work strongly on the transparency and involve the community a lot more and get a lot more community feedback when we make decisions.
School closures are a function of declining birth rates. But I would suggest everyone here read the long-range facilities plan and see how it has changed from the so-called national facilities plan. Acquaint yourself. I'm still going through it to this day. But it's not equitable, it's not even. But if you are aware of what's going on and the method to the madness, I think it would relieve a lot of anxiety.
I think we just need transparency. Let's have town halls. Let's explain to our parents and our stakeholders what we're going to do to make your area, your district better. What the pros and the cons are, let's be honest, there's pros and cons to everything. And let's make sure that they know that the dollars that we're going to save for their district is not going to another area, but it's going to be to make their lives better. Transparency. Make sure they understand that those dollars are going to be making their children's lives better, that it's not going to be moved across town.
All right, before we get to the questions individually about this, I do want to let the audience know that we are accepting questions. So if you have questions, write them down. Please write them, please. And then we will ask the candidates some of your questions as well. So with that being said, we do have a few questions about state policy and local impact. These are for our District 2 candidates. Duval County Public Schools has faced difficult decisions about school closure. What role, if any, do you believe state policy has played in these challenges? How should the school board respond? In this case, you have 60 seconds.
You said, repeat that question, please. Could you repeat the question?
Certainly. So, Duval County Public Schools has faced difficult decisions involving school closures, budget constraints, changing enrollment patterns, influenced by school choice. What role, if any, do you believe state policy has played in these challenges, and how should the school board respond to those challenges, to those changes in state policy?
Well, there's been a change in state policy. I think it's the board responsibility is to be transparent to the people. So if there's been a change, then that needs to be relayed to the community from the board as to why the school closure is happening.
And then about budget constraints and changing enrollment patterns?
Same thing, transparency. Anything that's come from the state down to the district, that needs to be transparent and shared with the community, so we're all on the same page. So that there is some equity being shared across the board.
All right, sorry, Ms. West.
It's hard to say, it's like Westrich. I think when you say changing enrollment patterns, you're referring to the Family Empowerment Scholarship, people choosing private schools, people choosing charter schools over public schools. And what we've seen with that, and that's coming from the state, even the Schools of Hope coming into our schools, that's a state policy, as you mentioned. And what we're seeing is an already tight public school budget getting further underfunded. And that continues the cycle of, oh, this school's not good, so I'm gonna go to a charter school, and then the county loses that money as well. Right now, Duval County is $17 million short because of this Family Empowerment Scholarship. The state of Florida can't track $270 million, so as a school board member, I will fight hard to fully fund our public schools, fully fund our public schools.
Thank you. Now we transition to District 4 candidates. Florida law allows schools to co-locate on existing public school campuses under certain circumstances. As a school board member, would you support or oppose co-location, in Duval County, and what factors would guide your decision? We're going to start with Dr. Castro. 60 seconds.
Okay, I do not support School of Hope. Already Duval County, not just Duval County schools, but public schools are under attack. Funds are being taken from public schools for charter schools and private vouchers. And that leaves the public school district at a disadvantage as it relates to funds. So I do not support School of Hope because I think it should be a separate entity other than the public school system.
Ms. Butler, go ahead.
Knowledge is power, and I was very concerned about this. So we have to continue to educate our community, educate teachers, and although they're there to do teaching and learning, we still need to educate all stakeholders and everyone, because the School of Hope actual legislation was done in 2017. So by the time it became a hot topic last year or 18 months ago, we were already here. Duval County has done a good job, though, working with the 23 schools that were slated to have the opportunity for Schools of Hope. They have taken most of those off the table, and there may be one or two that are remaining. They cannot cohabitate in the same building because of so many different reasons. We have our own way of doing things, and it's just not safe to have two schools with two different mindsets, two different programs in any given building. But again, education is essential so that we can make those sound decisions prior to this legislation coming into our, into policy.
Thank you. And now we're going to transition to District 6. Many education policies and funding decisions are made by the Florida legislature. We discussed this, you all know this, everyone here mostly knows this. What role, if any, do you believe the school board should play advocating for Duval County public schools on state education issues? Please provide one example of an issue where you believe the board should or should not take a position. 60 seconds.
I think that what the school board needs to look at is getting our own lobbying firm, because what works in Duval County may not work in Palm Coast, or what works in Palm Coast may not work in Duval County. So we need to look and see if we get legislation passed that's catered to Duval County. We have J bills, we got home rule. So I can't think of any issues at hand right offhand, but I do know the legislative process because I've worked for House of Representatives, so I do understand that you can do J bills. It caters to what your district's needs are. Because like I said, all the districts don't have the same needs and doesn't have the same obstacles in front of them.
I believe the state is trying to sanitize and politicize school curriculum. We should, Duval County should partition themselves away from some of the real aggressive moves by the state to not just facilitate but orchestrate how young folks are learning. Duval County should chart a direction where they focus on teaching young folks and get away from the politics, and get away from all of the sanitized curriculum, and get back to what's really learning. Thank you.
I am not a fan of all of the testing that we're currently doing with the county. I was super excited when we changed the curriculum a few years ago, but then we have additional testing. So now we're testing 3 times a year, and we're basically teaching a test, and these children are not retaining anything. And I would love to lobby to Tallahassee to work together with parents, teachers, educators, everyone as a whole to come up with something that is going to work for everyone that makes sense, that parents can understand, that teachers can understand, and that kids can easily learn and retain as they move up in grades.
All right, thank you. So we are going to transition to audience questions. We're going to start with one from me, and then Kylie and Dylan will also ask you questions that are directly from the audience. So, first question that I have, and we're going to begin. Jacksonville is a consolidated government. As you all saw, we introduced 2 members of the city council at the start of this. How will you, this is for all of you, how will you work with other parts of our local government to advocate for Duval County Public Schools? 30 seconds. We're going to start. Ms. Petty.
This is a great question. As I mentioned a little while ago, I was a part of the ACE process when they closed Charter Academy, and they built a brand new school right by me that had a lot of traffic issues, and we're also, around the time they stopped busing for kids less than 2 miles from the school. So we're now forcing kids to walk on these sidewalks, or actually on roads with no sidewalks. And a lot of that was overlapping into city council, and it was stuff that the school board could not actually remedy, because I was reaching out to.
The school board is non-partisan, and we're talking about working with folks that are part of one party or another party. You're talking about the council. We need to find the middle ground and reach each of the council members individually. Let them know this is about education. It's not about left, right, or any type of political agenda.
Being on the front lines, I can think of one instance where we had worked very closely with the city council when it came to school safety. We didn't have the funds when the majority store in Douglas first started to fully put all the officers in our schools. And the city of Jacksonville provided, I think it was about $9 million that paid off-duty JSO police officers to sit in our schools to make sure that they were manned and make sure that we met the state requirement that you had to have somebody at the school to protect our kids. So that came out of the city budget. So any type of incident like that comes up, we work together to get it done.
Building those relationships, is paramount. Working with local government will help bridge the gaps in many areas the district is facing. For one, reestablishing connection with the state attorney to help with our truancy department. That's something that's needed and has been done away with for some time now. So the local government partnership with the school board is needed. And I would do my very best to make sure those relationships are rekindled.
District 2 is crazy. There are 4 mayors in District 2, the 3 at the beaches and the mayor of Jacksonville. And I'll tell you, Fletcher Middle School has 1 mayor and Fletcher High School has another mayor. And just to get 8 white stripes drawn across the road to save our children took 3 years. I would love to work more closely with the government, even though it's crossing boundaries to get stuff done for our students. I've met with 2 out of the 4 mayors. We've already talked about increasing CTE, landscape, and stuff. Bye.
Collaboration is key. Progress happens when stakeholders come together. We're already doing it. It's already happening here. We have wonderful programs through Duval County Public Schools that works directly with the mayor's office. We have youth leadership programs that benefit so many students. So nothing happens without bringing people together and bringing all stakeholders to the table. So we're already doing it, and then I feel like we should just continue to do that in so many different ways to continue to get work done.
I've had a lot of years with, from a legislative point of view. So my 3 words, I would say, educate the community, collaborate with the constituents, and also advocate whatever the issue of policy that's going to benefit the entire county. Collaborate and advocate what is best for the community.
Thank you. And then this question is also for all candidates. You'll have 30 seconds. Can you describe a specific action you would take to improve the education and support of students with disabilities? We can start with Mr. Stafford.
I believe the ESE programs here are pretty robust, pretty vital. We have to make sure that we provide physical access to students, folks with challenges and such. We have real severe ADA challenges in Duval County Public Schools. I know, because I've had some of those things corrected. But we have access, we need the technology, and training teachers to do so.
I believe that our ESE programs need to be expanded. I have spoken with many families over the last few months that have special needs children, and their neighborhood schools can't accommodate them. I know it's hard to have that in every school, but I do believe that every area needs to have a school that can accommodate a child that they don't have to send across town to get the help that they need, to have the services that they need.
Mr. James.
We just need to make sure that they have the proper amount of resources that they need, especially for special needs kids, that they have the proper amount of professionals, teachers, assistants, and counselors. That's a very cumbersome task, is to keep those paraprofessionals hired at the current salaries that they have. So they need those resources to make sure that those special needs kids get the resources that they need and the support that they need.
Ms. Westrich.
Smaller class sizes, more teachers. We can't cram 42 kids into a classroom with 21 of them being ESE students and expect the 2 paraprofessionals to be able to do their jobs. Let's have smaller class sizes, let's get more ESE teachers, and we can do that by fully funding public schools.
Mr. Myers.
One thing that I think needs to happen is more, well, I'll just say it, the whole ESE department needs an overhaul, meaning students are being placed in the wrong places. We need to make sure that when those students are tested, they're put in the right facilities, the right schools, and not just placed somewhere just because they need a...
We start with you, Mr. James, sir. So we're going to start with you, Mr. Myers, in this closing statement. And again, you have 90 seconds.
Again, my name is Terence Myers, and I am running for School Board District 2. I'm a career educator, retired Army reservist. I've been on the grounds abroad, and I'm on the battlefield here in the educational field in Jacksonville, Florida. I know what the parents have been asking. I'm in the community. I'm dealing with students. I've had the opportunity to teach adults as well as children. I know it's needed for District 2. If I'm chosen, I'll do my best to make District 2 not just a good district, but the best district in amongst all the districts. Again, Terence Myers, I'm running for District 2. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. And what sets me apart, I have a broad experience in the district. Been in the classroom, I've been in district personnel, I'm a current dean, I've been an administrator. So I've seen different sides of the story. So with that experience, I think I could be the best person for District 2. Thank you.
I'm Donna Westrich, running for District 2 School Board. I also think he'd be a great candidate for school board, honestly. He's got a lot of experience. I am sorry, shout out to Mr. Myers, but I am an educator. I have 20 years of teaching experience. I've taught at private schools, I've taught at charter school, and I've taught at public schools. I've dedicated 20 years of my life to students and student success. What sets me apart is that I have the experience. I am a mom of public school students. I'm a tax-paying property owner, and I have proven in those 20 years, over the course of 25 years, that I have put students first, and that I will always dedicate my time to making sure that students succeed. I don't think there's a perfect person for the role of school board, but what matters the most is having the experience, the integrity, and the dedication to our schools. And we need to put students first every single day. I've demonstrated commitment, and I'm confident that my experience and my passion and my unwavering focus on student success will allow me to serve as an effective and trusted member of the Duval County School Board. Thank you for your time.
Good evening again. Thank you all for this opportunity to be here this evening. Again, my name is Rhodesia Butler, and I am excited to have this opportunity. I started about a year ago on this path. 21 years in the district, as I mentioned earlier, from teacher to principal. I've served in a variety of capacities, from teacher to specialist, pushing in with English and math support. I was an early college coordinator, which worked with FSCJ and an articulation agreement with the students who received their AA degrees and their high school diplomas. I've also served as student dean of discipline, assistant principal, and principal. What uniquely sets me apart in one area, I was able to certify myself over the many years, and I've traveled around the country, but I couldn't do Florida. But I have been able to do accreditations for school districts. And so that was very challenging, being able to sit with large teams and work through the school systems and decide whether they need a little more work or whether they're allowed to be certified. Also, I am a 35-year business owner here in the community, and I think with the tenure of education as well as business acumen and handling large budgets, I think that it's just a huge fit for me to be able to take the seat. Also, I just want to continue to serve. I am a servant transformational leader, and I just want to continue serving my community through education, our students, and our families.
Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Dr. Gracie Counselor. I am a retired educator of 33 incredible years. I've been a teacher, I've been an assistant principal. I've also operated in a lot of leadership roles. Also, I have been an educator all my life. In my retirement years, I'm still an educator. I am actively involved in NAACP, on the executive board, on the educational board. I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, in which I am the person that goes to the legislative meetings in Tallahassee and legislate for some bills to either be rejected or accepted. I have been involved for the last 4 years in the United States, excuse me, I had surgery on my throat, sometimes it gets dry. The United States White House for 4 years. I've also attended many City Hall meetings here. So I know from a legislative point, also from an educational point, I know what's going on in the community. I feel very highly in high achievement because I was Teacher of the Year 4 times. And that means that I will use the knowledge, the skills, my determination, and my integrity to do the best job possible.
My name is Michelle Petty, and I have served on the school advisory council for the last 11 years at my oldest daughter's schools, and as well as my younger daughter when she started there, and on one of them for 11 years now. I was the staff chair for one or both of them at the same time for the last 9 years. I've also served on the academic and community excellence committee and the master facility plan focus groups. I also led the Save Baldwin initiative last year when we were trying to keep Baldwin in the town of Baldwin. A lot like the beach, I have 2 mayors to deal with. I take pride in having a knack for being able to work with all types of people. I try to find what way works best with individual different personalities, and I love to be able to collaborate and hear everyone's issues and everyone's concerns and everyone's issues that they have with everything, and be able to come up and want to collaborate and come up with a plan that will work for everyone. And I am not a kind of person that wants conflict, and I just feel like I am able to serve the community in that capacity. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity tonight. In February of this year, I represented NAACP on the Sales Surtax Oversight Committee. DCPS came into the committee, giving us a presentation about value engineering and how they had gone from $516 per square foot to $437, actually it's $473. At that point, I directed them to the Florida Department of Education statutes that outline cost per square foot for elementary, middle, and high schools in 2022. As I was having that discussion, another member of the committee found that website real time. The COO and acquiesced. They took that information back to the contractors and they negotiated a price of $335 per square foot to build new picket. I was the person that did that. I was a toxic pronoun. But had Mr. Day not second that, we would still be paying over $400 per square foot to build elementary schools. That's what sets them apart. I'm going to engage with Mr. Colbert tonight because Thomas Jefferson's cost to renovate rose by 34%. You'll hear from him tonight about this. Thank you.
Well, once again, I'm Clarence James, and I retired from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office as a lieutenant. And then after I retired, I went to work for the Florida House of Representatives, where I was legislative staff to Kimberly Daniels. I then transitioned back into law enforcement. That's where I'm at now. I'm a school police sergeant. I have the schools on the west side under my span of control. I'm on the front lines every day dealing with the critical incidents in our schools. We cannot continue to have 1,500 fights and 400 assaults on school staff members and think that any seed we plant in this district is going to grow if we don't get the violence, the drugs, and the gangs out of our schools. We're now up to 5 canines, drug dogs and dogs that sniff for guns, to go around our schools and find drugs and guns. What sets me apart? I'm endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, the Jacksonville Firefighters, and State Attorney Melissa Nelson, and many other big endorsements as well. Ken Jefferson, crime analysis, he ran for sheriff. He's endorsed me. Why have these people endorsed me? Because they know me. They've known me for 30 years. They know I am the guy that can get the job done to get the violence and put respect back into our classroom. That's the #1 problem. The budget's a problem. Reading and math scores is a problem. But the #1 problem is getting the violence and the disruptive behavior out of our schools so our teachers can teach and our test scores and English scores can increase. That sets me apart.
Thank you, candidates. We're going to have closing statements from our panelists and then myself.
First of all, I just want to say thank you all for being I've had the privilege of being a Duval County Public Schools student since kindergarten. I've been a student at both Magnus as well as our neighborhood schools. So thank you, community members, for being here and getting informed before you go out and vote. You have the privilege to make your voices heard through voting, so thank you for feeling the weight of that choice and understanding the importance of being educated about who you're electing. Thank you, candidates, for taking the time here today to share your values with our community. As a student, this election is incredibly important to me because the decisions made by our elected board directly impact my day-to-day life, my education, and my future. So, candidates, if you are elected and you're sitting in your office with a view of the river, remember who your work impacts. It's not always the people who voted for you, and it's not always the people who can vote. It's the students in schools sitting in 30-year-old classrooms, just happy to get their parking lot paid. It's the teachers buying their own school supplies for their overcrowded classes, staying after hours just to get ready for the next day. It is the students and teachers who have to live with every decision you make. So all I ask is to keep us in mind if you get the privilege to serve this community. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you to the candidates who gave up their Thursday night to sit here and take real questions from two high schoolers. I'll say this before I go. Kylie and I cannot vote in this next election, and neither can any of the students whose reading scores, bus routes, and class schedules we just spent our last hour discussing. Every person in this room who can vote is voting on behalf of somebody who can. I've been on the other side of this. I've stood at the podium in the school board chambers with 2 minutes on the clock, asking this board not to change school scheduling, not to cut magnet transportation, and to protect programs like AP, IB, ACE, and CTE. 2 minutes is all of what a student can get. Tonight, 7 people who want to sit on your board got a whole lot longer than that, and you heard what they did with it. Some of these 7 may be going to vote on all of it. Magnet busing, which schools stay open, what's in the library, and whether the program a student loves still exists next year. And in all honesty, your vote should reflect the change. As students have spent the last few years fighting our own board, we had to show up and argue against decisions being made by people who are supposed to be looking out for us, which is a strange thing to have to do at 15. Giving a speech of 2 minutes at a microphone and then hoping they vote to support your favorite program, even though a lot of times they will still vote the way they were already going to vote, because they truly do not answer to us. We can't vote them out. That's the whole thing. We're the only people in this county who live with every single one of these decisions, and we're the only people who can't do anything about it. And by the time I can, I'll be gone. I'll likely be out of town in college when this board comes up again. So there's no real reason for anyone in here to worry about what I think. But they have every reason to worry about what you think. So that's what I'm asking. If you're a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a neighbor of a Duval student, which you all likely are, to vote like they're in the room, to ask students about changes representatives want to make, because we are not and we can't be in the room directly to express our political beliefs in the voting box, but again, you can. The district says every student every day. Vote for who will actually honor it. Thank you everyone for coming out.